that rats fed the company's genetically modified corn suffered tumors and organ damage.
Greenpeace is here today quarantining this facility, the Morden Agriculture Canada Research Station.
And you know, we're almost there. I can't believe it.
Well, the year's almost over.
I know.
And the world didn't end last week.
You know,
or if it did, I missed it.
I'm kind of proud to say I have survived more ends of the world than anybody I know.
The rapture came and the Christians are still here. Damn.
Whoa, wait a second. They're supposed to be gone, aren't they? Okay, we're talking about things that the mainstream missed. As you know, you're tuned into Radio Free Canada, out of the box thinkers, making sure the conservatives roll around in their graves and in, well, unsatisfying beds at night.
Well, the ones that were dead were true conservatives, not the ones that are running things now.
No. What the people running things now are not true conservatives.
No, they're fascists.
What we're talking about, and we had to do this when we were talking about the mainstream misses and one of the biggest stories being missed in mainstream news, the one thing rose up: GMOs, genetically modified organisms.
The poison in our food.
Okay. So we've talked to the guys at True Food Foundation. We've had Heidi Osterman get up and speak with Occupy Kelowna and us on stage and get informed. GMOs are a real problem. It's Truefoodfoundation.ca. And actually, let's smile. Let's run this.
A little satire.
Recently, multinational mega corporation Monsanto has been doing damage control after a French study claimed that rats fed the company's genetically modified corn suffered tumors and organ damage. Here to discuss is a spokesman for the Association of Genetically Modified Food Growers, Franklin McMays.
Thanks for the opportunity to dispel these allegations. There's nothing wrong with genetically modified food.
Well, many people feel that there are too many unanswered questions when it comes to genetically modified food.
Look, if you buy anything in a supermarket, odds are you're already eating genetically modified food. And you're fine, aren't you?
But there really haven't been any long-term studies.
Well, people want food in the short term.
Oh, my God. Mr. McMays, are you a genetically modified ear of corn?
It's too late, you fools! Genetically modified food is now entrenched in all the major growing regions. Soon you will bow to your corn overlords. And these lights, they're so hot!
Are you okay?
No. Heat. My one weakness. Ah!
What is happening? Are you melting?
No, it's butter. Melting under the lights. Melted butter. My other weakness. Ah!
Mr. McMays, what is happening right now?
Oh, no. Someone let chickens into the studio. Ah! Chickens. My other weakness.
Well, look, obviously it seems like genetically modified food still needs some testing.
Just you wait. We've got some zucchini growing that will be unstoppable. Ah!
Oh, man, I love starting things off like that, just for a smile.
Even though it is a very serious subject.
It is a serious subject, but you know, seriously, a regular Joe guy, Percy Schmeiser, took on the Monsanto Corporation and won. Okay, and this is just a regular guy down the street.
And there are more wins happening around the world.
The world is winning the war against GMOs, but there's work to be done. Let's cover the story right now. This is Radio Free Canada, winding up 2012 and those things that mainstream media is scared to talk about.
And for more on GMOs and the Canadian case, we have this.
Yeah, check it out.
Greenpeace is here today quarantining this facility, the Morden Agriculture Canada Research Station, to send a strong message to the Canadian government and to let Canadians know what their government is doing in secrecy, in cahoots with Monsanto. We want to let people know about the risks that GE wheat pose to the environment and pose to Canadian farmers. So we're wedded to this biotechnology policy, and the government can't seem to take a step back and look at the harm that it's going to do to farmers, to the environment, and to consumers.
We as farmers, we must become market-driven, market-oriented. We must accept market signals. The marketplace has spoken. This product is not welcome in the marketplace. The customers don't want it. The consumers don't want it. All the scientific opinion that's available today says you cannot segregate. Once it's out of the bottle, it's out of the bottle permanently. If they can do some segregation, they can go back and segregate canola and demonstrate to us how that works.
So there you are, okay, and he's saying it.
If they can demonstrate segregation works, then they'll accept it.
Yeah, segregation of pollen. You got a field of soy over here, and you can segregate that pollen?
I don't think the bees are going to cooperate.
I think they're full of caca. Now, thinking about Monsanto, GMOs, okay, it's a genetically modified organism, and the reason why people are really bent out of shape out of it, there's been no medical studies on damages that are being done to you because they're running with scissors in the DNA chain.
Well, there have been studies done, but they've been done by the biotech industry.
Yeah, okay, so he said, I hired a scientist to check out my work, and that scientist said it was fine.
Yeah.
Huh. That's sort of like
you hire me to give you the opinion you like, then you'll get the opinion you like.
Check our facts. Let's run this clip, too, okay? Let's just throw it in, and here, talk.
A court in the French city of Lyon has ruled US pesticides maker Monsanto was responsible for the poisoning of a farmer who'd used one of their products on his crops. Paul Francois says he suffered neurological problems including memory loss, headaches and stammering after inhaling Monsanto's Lasso weed killer in 2004.
Cette décision, de toute façon,
his lawyer described the ruling as historic.
Elle s'imposera en première.
The tribunal has ordered an expert opinion. So we'll see what comes out of that in relation to compensation.
Donc on va voir les suites et surtout l'indemnisation de son préjudice.
Monsanto's lawyer said the company was considering an appeal. There was no evidence of a causal link between the symptoms presented by Mr. Francois and the inhalation of a weed killer, he said. The farmer claimed Monsanto was at fault for not providing adequate warnings on the product label. The ruling could have implications for similar cases.
So talking about a story that is not covered by major media, France throws Monsanto under a truck.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, Monsanto is not just a seed giant. They're also a chemical company.
Yes, and they're a food producer.
Yeah.
On this segment, we've got the logos of every one of Monsanto's associated food production companies. Take a look at the screen and see that this is what you're buying. And chances are there's GMOs in it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I want my cornflakes back.
I want my Captain Crunch.
Oh, man. When I'm thinking about that, I grew up with cornflakes, and I love it, okay? It's one of those comfort foods.
Yeah.
And now I can't eat cornflakes.
Or my Campbell's tomato soup, or, the list is just endless.
There's a French study also under fire, but we'll talk about that in a second. Do you want to run this?
It's the same study.
Yeah, okay. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We don't want to run the same story twice.
No, that you just mentioned, the French study.
Oh, this is it?
Yes.
See, once again, brother, you're one step ahead of me.
French Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault says he's prepared to call for a wider European ban on genetically modified produce, following an alarming new study that throws the safety of the food into doubt. The report claimed that 200 rats fed GM corn produced by US firm Monsanto had suffered tumours as big as ping-pong balls. Ayrault has ordered that the scientific validity of the study be checked by the country's health watchdog. So far, Monsanto has not responded to the findings. But scientist Joel Spiro has called for new rules on GM foods. Current regulation tests are conducted over 3 months, but the really serious diseases, such as the death of rats due to tumours, occurs only in the 4th month. Therefore, these tests give no real information about the effects of genetically modified food on health over a lifetime. The study has also been forwarded to the European Food Safety Authority. Currently, 46 varieties of GM products are allowed in the EU. They include corn, cotton and canola oil varieties, and one type of potato and beetroot.
Okay. France with 2 stories about GMOs, the CBC with none.
Absolutely none.
Okay, I mean, you did actually put in GMO in the search engines. This is our challenge to you. Go to the search engines of major news and find the stories on GMOs, and then go to the stories on major news and find the stories on price gouging at grocery stores.
Yeah.
There's 2 things, okay? And realize the inflation rate does not take into account grocery prices that are artificially spiked because the genetically modified food experiment has failed and it's causing prices to go up.
Food and energy are not part of the inflation index.
Put a big pile of colossal... Okay, come on, get the pitchfork out. They're not putting in power and grocery prices into the inflation rate. come on, kids.
No, they're more concerned with the cost of what? Hockey pucks and tickets? I don't know.
Actually, that's true. Poland up in the firing line right now. Radio Free Canada, as we talk about what they have no clue about at CHBC.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Monsanto's not doing well in Europe.
Yes. Oh, no.
Finally tonight, Poland beekeepers kicked Monsanto out of the hive, successfully banned bee-killing GM corn. A significant health freedom victory has taken place in the European nation of Poland, where all plantings of Monsanto's MON 810, a genetically modified variety of maize that produces its own Bt insecticide in every kernel, has been officially banned. The decision comes after thousands of protesters recently took to the streets, good job, Poles, and a demonstration of the undeniable fact that both MON 810 and the chemicals cause colony collapse disorder, a worldwide phenomenon in which entire swarms of honeybees disappear or turn up dead. And a lot of this has been based on the independent research of Pennsylvania beekeeper John McDonald, who had his research taken up and burned because Monsanto didn't like it. They don't want anybody talking about any of their products in a bad light at all. And this really makes me happy that the Poles kicked these guys out. And this on a day when the president referred to a Nazi death camp as a Polish death camp today. Good job, Obama.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Obama. Abomination is one of those things that we really got to talk about in 2013. Okay,
You mean the drone king?
Yes, the drone man.
The guy with the kill list?
Yeah, the only Nobel Peace Prize winner with a kill list. But mainstream news. Come on, guys.
The guy that's prosecuted more citizens under the Espionage Act than all other presidents combined.
Not to mention any uncomfortable facts or anything. Uncomfortable facts about climate change. Yes. Okay. So I got you, man, because there's a mainstream miss of huge proportions.
I mean, and during the whole election campaign,
it
was never mentioned.
Man. Oh,
they were talking about how
what clothes he was wearing, and the nonsense. They didn't ask one hard question during the entire presidential debate.
No,
the one they did on Russia Today. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about real issues.
But I'm talking about monumental BS on saying that there was a presidential debate between Romney and Obama. Saying that was a debate is a mockery of journalism.
It was just theater. That's all it was. It was a selection process.
Okay, but they're going to hate us. Let's run this climate change thing.
The thing they would not talk about.
Arctic ice is melting at an alarming rate. That's at the core of a report by the World Meteorological Organization. Its findings were presented to the global climate change talks in Doha. The ice has melted to its lowest recorded level this year, and add to that other weather extremes. It is proof that climate change is happening before our eyes, underlines the report. It has meant warmer temperatures.
So definitely the message here is that the trend is not only continuing but accelerating with respect to the melting of the Arctic ice, and this is linked to this to the change in the global in the temperature.
That change has resulted in the first 10 months of 2012 being the 9th warmest since records began in the mid-19th century. About 15,000 daily heat records were broken across the United States. The WMO also reported on extreme weather conditions, noting the Atlantic Basin had an above-average hurricane season for the third year running, while Superstorm Sandy was particularly devastating. The atmosphere has never been so polluted with concentrations of greenhouse gases. They have risen constantly to reach record levels, which will lead to continual climate change, warns the WMO. The Geneva-based organisation is an agency of the United Nations.
Talking about climate change and all those things. Man!
That should be the #1 agenda on every newscast is what are we going to do about this catastrophic issue?
Okay, and what are we going to do about getting off of oil? Talking about stuff that they're not covering. It has been our privilege to wrap up 2012. I am Darren Howard.
And I am Robert Nisbet.
We're rapidly running out of time. I want to fit this in. Can we run the Pope thing? Let's run the Pope thing.
Just nonsense.
That is it, man. The Pope got rid of the donkeys in the nativity scene.
Because he's the authority.
I know.
Like he was there.
As we continue to mock major media, we thank you for joining us for 2012. It has been a great year to have you with us. And I am Darren Howard.
And I am Robert Nisbet, and we'll see you next year.
You will. Remember, if you're listening to this,
you are the resistance.